Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Premier. This week is Treaties Recognition Week in Ontario. Across Ontario, people have gathered for treaty awareness events in schools, universities, and public libraries. These events help the public have a better understanding of treaties, as we are all treaty people. First Nations continue to honor our treaties and to share our land and our natural resources. Mr. Speaker, I want to be very clear. We never ceded our land to the government entirely, nor did we ever give up our sovereignty as nations. Does Ontario believe it is truly living up to the spirit and intent of the treaties?
Members will please take their seats. The question is addressed to the Premier.
Minister of Education.
Heard to the Minister of Education.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the question, and I believe all Ontarians, all Canadians accept that we have more to do when it comes to meeting our commitments to the First Nation, Inuit, and Métis people of this country who have made immeasurable contributions. And an important part of that is ensuring the next generation of young people know the history, the shared history and the culture and the diversity of language that exists within the First Nation communities of this province. It's why, Mr. Speaker, our government has expanded and enhanced education learning of First Nation history from grade 1 to 8. It's why, Mr. Speaker, we've added 10 additional courses in the for secondary students so that they know more about the incredible contributions of First Nations. We take our responsibilities seriously. We believe that there's a tremendous economic opportunity and potential within our First Nations community, a fast-growing community in this province. We're going to continue to work with them in good faith to ensure that they're able to reach their full potential, get economic opportunity, realize the dreams that this country should be able to provide for the first peoples of this country.
Thank you. Supplementary question.
Treaties are more than contracts and real estate transactions. Actually, they are sacred agreements that set out for us on how to maintain our relationship with newcomers, then and now. The Crown has a role to play in this relationship too. First Nations cannot be the only ones holding up their side of the treaty. We come to you and ask for help in getting clean drinking water, safe housing, and proper infrastructure. If Ontario honored the treaties as they were intended, we wouldn't be asking these questions. Is the government, is Ontario, are you prepared to share the resources as part of Treaty Number 9 and the Robinson Treaties? Yes or no?
The Minister to reply.
To the Attorney General.
Refer to the Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm pleased to rise and address the members' issues. We all agree, and those who know the history of the Williams Treaties in central Ontario understand how in the past things have not always worked the way that they should be, and that there should be a level of respect, and that we should come to agreement on some of the fundamental important pieces. But it's not just a piece of paper. It's not just a discussion, Mr. Speaker. It's about action coming out of that. And so that is why the Minister of Indigenous Affairs and myself were in Kenora recently talking about the Justice Centres, standing with Treaty 3 and Chief Fiddler and Nan, talking about the important work that we need to do with First Nations to actualize the agreements that we have, to make sure that they're having an impact in the communities where they need to. And so I'm pleased to work with the member on issues as they arise to make sure that we're taking action where action is needed in ways that we can, and to work with our federal counterparts as well, to make sure that this is a holistic approach to the issues and not just singular motion with no action. We are committed to action, and the Minister of Indigenous Affairs talks consistently about levels of respect and engagement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.